It's Emoji or Bored Black Girl, and I am back here with a new video as well as a new book. It is August, which means that it is time for me to start my next book, and this month's book is actually Twisted by Emily McIntire. I'm not really sure how to say her last name, I'll be completely honest, nor do I know a lot about this book. This is actually a book that my sister bought and read that she actually told me that she liked. I'm excited to read this book, mostly because I just finished reading Hot Streak and it was definitely something. And I actually don't really know that much about this book, so I'm kind of going in with fresh eyes. So I'm interested to see what it is about. I'm gonna read the back with you guys just so we can both know a little bit more about the book. She's his diamond in the rough. He's her worst nightmare. Okay. Yasmin Karim, daughter to one, oh, I remember this now. Yasmin Karim, daughter to one of the richest men in the world, has never known strife. So when her beloved father falls ill, she's determined to make his final days his happiest. His last wish, to see her married to a man of his choosing, except Yasmin's heart already belongs to someone else. A servant, a man her father would never consider worthy. Stuck between a rock and a hard place, Yasmin strikes a desperate deal with her father's right-hand man, not realizing he has his own twisted agenda. Okay, that was a little bit about our main character, Yasmin. Now let's read more about Julian, our male main character. Julian Ferrasi has one goal: become the most powerful man in the world. He's built a future from broken bones and faded bruises, never caring who he hurt along the way. But when his mentor falls ill, he finds himself on the verge of losing everything, and he'll stop at nothing to inherit what is truly his, even if it means forcing a woman who can't stand into a marriage. Yasmin is a brat who speaks out of turn, and he's the villain of her story, but he decides she'll be his no matter what it takes to convince her. Okay, that seems a little interesting. It's seeming kind of like an enemies to lovers, arranged marriage, forced marriage kind of situation. The back honestly sounds really good, and I'm interested to read a little bit more. So I think I'm going to do my annotation guide in the back, and then we can get started with this book. Here we go. There's a playlist. Hold on, there's a playlist? Okay, let's see. I've never read a book where there's a playlist before, so this is interesting. Here's the playlist. I will show you guys a better look at it, but we have Devil on My Shoulder by Faith Marie, Changes by Hyde, In the End by Beth Corley, Boyfriend by Dove Cameron, Love is Madness, 30 Seconds to Mars featuring Halsey, IDFC by Black Bear, Under the Influence, Chris Brown, Demons, Imagine Dragons, Girls Like Us, Zoe Wells, and Infinity, James Young. I don't really know how to feel about that music selection, mostly because I don't listen to any of these people. I honestly used to listen to Black Bear, but only his one song, like Do Re Mi, but that was forever ago. And Halsey, so I don't really listen to any of these people, so I'm just gonna look up the Dove Cameron song, mostly because Dove Cameron was the first name that I recognized on here. So let's see. I guess I'm going to play this song while I read, just so I can fully give myself the experience that the author intended. It is copyright though, so you guys will not be hearing it. But if you want, you can go ahead and search up the songs and give it a read. But here goes. Okay, this book immediately starts with us learning how our main character, Julian, was abused by his mother. I don't really know how to feel about that, but okay. That came out of nowhere. I'll keep playing the song. Now I feel like Boyfriend is a bad song to start off with that intro. I'll keep reading. Okay, so we're just hearing, in the prologue, we're learning about Julian, we're learning about Julian, our main love interest's life. I don't really feel like it's appropriate to listen to Boyfriend by Dove Cameron while I read this book. So I'm going to end the recording for the prologue here, and I'll come back when I have more to say. Okay, so Julian's father owns a dry cleaning business that was started up by his grandparents, and when his father would come home from being ridiculed and talked down by customers, he would take it out on his wife, and then soon his wife would go and take it out on his son. A very sad and tragic intro to this book, but it is an important part of his character. So I started to read a little bit more into the book, but it's a little bit odd. I thought that this was a book that I would like, but once I started to read it and I saw things that I didn't like, my sister was like, yeah, I don't know if you're gonna like the main character. And essentially, so far what I'm seeing is that our main female character, Yasmin, her father is sick, and Julian actually joined her father's company when she was 15 years old and he was 28. That was, I think, 6 years ago, said in the book. And originally she had a crush on him, but he very obviously, at least in my opinion, is misogynistic, because he's like, she has no business. She knows nothing about the business. She was off in college, and now, oh, it's such a shame that she wasn't born a boy. That, off the bat, I don't like him at all. So it's going to be interesting to read this book when I don't like the main character. I have been reading the book so far. Honestly, I don't like Julian or her dad because they're just making sexist comments, and it's just really annoying. But I'm on chapter 2 right now, and as I'm reading, tell me why, as Julian's leaving, he starts to hear a moan. My assumption is that he's going to walk in on Yasmin with her little lover, who is, I think he's a worker or a servant, so I'm a little bit scared. Okay, I really like this quote from the book, because although the dad does love his daughter, he is still a misogynist. Gross. And she says, hold on, where is it? Let me find it. His words slap me in the face and are a stark reminder that for all the things I am to my father, there's one thing I'm not: a son. Ooh. She kind of just ate that the fuck down. And it's like, it's true, because he's like, oh, you know, I thought that I'd pass my legacy on to my son. Guess what? You don't have a son. We don't care. Die already, please. Okay, so earlier in the book, it mentioned how there was a guy who was coming over to like kind of have a dinner with her, who was like, it was a setup between her father. She didn't know that her father has been matchmaking for her, and that was what dinner was about. It doesn't even matter, because he didn't even show up to the dinner because Julian killed him. So it's just like, her dad is annoying, and then on top of that, he's literally doing this behind her back, and he's only told her now. I'm on chapter 4, and for some reason Julian is like, he's offended that Jasmine's father never considered him to be, to be a suitor for her, because he says, oh, he never considered him good enough. Why would he consider you to be a suitor? Although he does say that it's probably because of the age and him seeing him as a son, which I think is more of the reason. But, like, why would you even want to be a suitor in the first place? And then he says something about how she's a princess who thinks that the blood that runs through her veins and the money that she's been given makes her better than everyone else. When has Jasmine, at least not as far as I've seen, ever, like, gave off that kind of vibe? I think he's projecting. Literally reaches out and grabs her hand. And that said something like, oh, she doesn't like when I grab her hand. It makes her uncomfortable and makes me want to do it more often. Excuse me? So happy that she has a friend. Ignore the way my words look. But anyways, Raya is like, just tell your dad that you don't want to be like auctioned off as a prize. And she's like, he's the only person I have left. And she's like, okay, so you're going to allow him to auction you off to some random guy, and then you're going to lose yourself in the process? Period. I'm so glad that we finally have somebody who can say, hey, girl, this is insane. The way that, what's his name, Julian talks to Ian, who's like his assistant, I think is so weird because like this book has like a mix of real life and like story. So like they're looking for this lamp, which I'll be honest, I have no idea what it does. And Ian is aware of the fact that Julian has killed a lot of people, which is crazy to me because, no offense, if my boss was a murderer, I would call the police. But instead, he's still working for him, and he's even being threatened by Julian. And he said you're supposed to be seen, not heard. Is he a slave? What? What is going on? To be honest, I'm on chapter 7, and I'm not really liking the book, just because I think Julian is so corny, and some of their interactions just kind of give, like, TikTok vibes. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's just gross for me and it's a little bit uncomfortable. Let me see some parts in specific. The part where she tells him like to quit it, I guess the way he's looking at her, and he continues and he stalks towards her, ignoring her plea, and then he lifts his arm above her and cages her against the door. No thank you, no thank you. And then he's like, say you need me and I'll help you. And it's so gross because she says it. And she walks up to him. He's like, I need you, Julian, please. He literally says, what's the magic word? I can't do it right now. I don't know. I'm not feeling this book. Where if Aiden turns out to be evil or bad, which I know he's going to, I hope it isn't anything too insane. But considering the fact that Julian is talking about, he can see his like hunger for power. Oh God. Time Julian thought about killing someone being at 5 years old is insane to me. Okay, so not only did his dad, his abusive father, got him a python for his 16th birthday, he proceeds to beat the shit out of his dad with a staff, take him to the alley, cover him in rats, and allow the python to eat him. And then he got a tattoo in commemoration. What is going on? I really don't know. He's disturbed. Very, very disturbed. Although I'm pretty sure it's only because I dislike him, every sexual thing that he says is just deplorable to me. I won't lie. Because she's like, don't ever, like, you know, order me around again like that after leaving the restaurant with the guy. And listen, he's like, if I tell you to jump, you say how high. If I say spin in a circle, then you drop to your knees and suck until I paint your pouty lips with my... You'll do it with a smile on your vapid face. Sorry, I'm sick. No thank you, Julian. No thank you. He's not really giving sexy to me. He's more so giving crazy. Like he's giving Drake. No shade to Julian or anything, but I low-key don't give a fuck about your issues. Because every time he goes on this little rant where he's like, suddenly I feel like Ollie makes me feel like I'm not enough. I'm not good enough for his daughter. You're not good enough for his daughter. You're a murderer. Like, he has this weird thing where he's like, oh, I feel so like I'm not good enough, but I'm gonna use that to motivate myself. Okay, motivate yourself. Be good. Don't be a murderer. I don't know. I think that he just annoys me, and everything he says just annoys me because I'm a little bit sick of him. But I am in Act 2, I believe on chapter 15 or 16. So they have just told her dad that they are in love. And that, you know, he's like, okay, you guys are going to get married. So I'm interested to see where it goes. There is still the whole element about the lamp, which I have no idea what the lamp is about. I'll be completely honest. But this book is not really capturing me at all. I don't really feel like entertained or really like, I don't know. It's not keeping my attention, unfortunately. But I am still going to keep reading it. And we're going to see if it gets a little more interesting. The way his mom was talking on the voicemail is just the epitome of the parent that you put in a nursing home. She says, Jessica is the mom's nurse. Jessica says you're a busy man. But what type of kid is too busy to call his mother? Anyway, I hope I get to talk to you soon, and I hope you're not lying in a ditch somewhere. God forbid. Not like I'd ever be called if you were. It's like I'm a stranger even though I gave you life, but you know that must not mean as much these days as it did when I was growing up. Manipulation 101.
And then to make things worse, she's trying to say that she has a limited of time left, but apparently she's been saying that for years and people have stopped believing it. This is why I feel like he should just not be talking to his mom at all. I mean, his dad is dead, and like I think he kind of has some grace for his mom, but she did also abuse him. To be completely honest, this book so far has left me with one main question. Is Julian supposed to be an attractive male? Like, am I supposed to like Julian? I think there's a difference between liking a character for like their action / personality and being attracted to them. But because of Julian's actions and personality, I'm not attracted to him. And everything that he does is supposed to be like, ooh, he's so sexy, dominating her. It's just like, oh my gosh. Because he comes into her room, chokes her, puts her on the bed, and he's like, Gadada, which I don't even know what Gadada means. He says it so much, it drives me crazy. And it's just not a fun time. Like, I'm just kind of like, oh my god. Like, she needs to hit him with something. Like, leave now. Yeah, and honestly, it's just, I feel like Jasmine is just so helpless. And I know that, I guess, to some degree, she is helpless. But I feel like she can either just accept what's going to happen, either that being, you know, her signing off Sultans, or maybe her being married off. But honestly, I don't think that Julian is a good option. And I know that her being married off to some random guy isn't either. But with Julian, it's either you are miserable and lose everything your father worked for, but you're with Aiden, or you get married off to some other person and you're also miserable and can't be with Aiden. So I don't know. I don't know why the people that Julian and just like the Sultans have around them are such villains. Because tell me why he goes to his lawyer, and I guess he's trying to like speed up the marriage process, and he's like, I can't really like do that, and soon Julian threatens the guy with information against him, and he's like, remember that video where your 19-year-old assistant was pegging you over your desk? And then soon, to make things even worse, the man has a wife. To make things even worse, he was also asking Julian for money to buy diamond earrings for the mistress, who I'm pretty sure was his assistant. And then Julian is even more of a monster because he kept the tapes. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm reading a book about a villain, and then my sister said something about how it's corny how he walks around with the staff, and you know what? It is. He's a grown man who walks around with a staff for no reason, to threaten people. Like, I'm sorry, this book is just kind of really unserious to me. I was not expecting Julian to literally pull a secret wedding on Yasmin this very moment. I thought that we had some time. I don't think that it's gonna go through and they're gonna get married right now. But if they did, that would be crazy because we still have like 50% of the book to go. That's really wild. Okay, I don't know why. I kind of like Julian's sass in chapter 18 because his receptionist is kind of like, oh, I'm sorry, you know, I didn't let Jasmine, I didn't know you guys were gonna get married. And he's like, do I pay you to know who I'm fucking? Ooh. And so she says, I don't pay you to look into my personal life. I pay you to schedule meetings, to make calls. I don't like Julian, but I'm sorry, he kind of clocked her. Okay, so they have a forced marriage, whatever. And then soon, essentially, she goes to his house and he's like, get used to it, girl, you're living here. And then so she's going around looking for a room, and she finds this room that she is assuming is hers, which is like on the opposite of his. And tell me why. Maybe I'm just overreacting, but I found this to be really kind of creepy and gross. The room, she says, is oddly familiar like the room that she used to have in her house. Meaning the room that she had before she left for, I'm assuming, boarding school and college. So when she was underage and when he was an adult, that room is magically similar to the room that's in his house. Is that not weird? Is that not odd? Maybe I'm overreacting, but that felt weird to me. Okay, so as she's showering in Julian's place, she's kind of thinking, and she's like, all my life I've been a people pleaser, I've tried to work through it, but it's not really something that I've been able to break. But she says that when she's with Julian, she doesn't really feel this. And she's like, she hates him, but it's kind of freeing. No. It's not freeing, girl. The only reason you don't feel like being a people pleaser around Julian is because Julian is annoying and you don't care about Julian's opinion. That's a good thing, because Julian is not someone who opinion matters. And then soon, when she's showering, Julian already has her exact type of shampoo, conditioner, and lotion, and he already has it stocked up in the bathroom. He has been stalking her. Like, Julian's giving me creep vibes. He already was, but it's only getting worse. And girl. Also, I kind of forgot that this book had smut. So tell me why she starts masturbating to Julian, of all people. My jaw dropped. Talk about some going to her clit. Excuse me? This book has me, like, bent right now. I feel like Julian tries too hard, or at least, like, the character tries so hard to constantly be a dick. Because he's like, if you put on a good show for your dad, I'll make sure that Aiden comes back, alive, or like not unharmed or whatever. And she was like, oh my god, thank you. And he's like, I told you that your time with me didn't have to be miserable. You just have to be my wife in public. I don't care if you're his whore in private. What the fuck, bruh? He could have just not said anything. He could have just not said that, but he chose to. And it's hard because I'm trying to see the redeeming qualities in him, or I guess where some people could find him attractive. Besides his physical appearance, which honestly is just kind of overcasted by his bad personality, I don't really like him at all. No shade. No shade to Yasmin, but I don't think that Julian exactly deserves to get brownie points just because he's not letting her take the fault for them getting married without her dad knowing. Because that's literally the bare minimum that Julian can do, is take the fault. Because he's literally it's because of him that they literally got married. And then soon, it's just her dad aggravates the fuck out of me. Because after he finds out that Yasmin is now Julian's wife, he says, I'm tired, and if you keep your wife in the room, I'm not going to be able to talk business. My business doesn't involve her. That's literally your daughter. She's been married for, what, a day? Calm down, Ollie, and you're about to die anyways, old man. You think that you'd want to go out, I don't know, being nice to her? All the men in this book are just annoying, and I know that Aiden's about to show his true colors next. I still don't know why Julian has this idea in his mind that Yasmin is some, prissy, spoiled princess when she really isn't. And especially considering the fact that he never really has gotten a lot of time with her. I just don't understand where he got the notion from, but I think it is starting to crack. They are both drunk at his place. So, I think some smut's gonna happen. I don't really want it to, honestly. I don't know why. I just don't like reading anything sexual in this book right now. It might just be me, but yeah, they might have some smut going on, so let's see what happens. I've been masturbating to Julian back to back while showering. Please. I'm sick of it. Okay, I'm honestly a little bit confused as to why Julian wants to take Yasmin to meet his abusive mother. I think it's probably just I guess to keep up with looks. It makes sense because his dad is dead, and Jasmine's mother is also not there, so it's you might as well meet the family that they have. But I have to give Julian props, because going to teach Jasmine how to drive, I kind of have to give him props for that, because he doesn't have to do it, but it's something that he's suggesting, so half a point or a quarter of a point for Julian, even though he's down 1,000,000 points. Is really such a boss friend, because Rhea is so smart that she finds a lawyer for Yasmin and even gets her a burner phone with the lawyer's number already in it, and it's hey girl, in case your phone is bugged or anything, or if you want to have some really private conversations, here's a phone. And she slides it to her in a napkin. Shout out to Rhea. I haven't talked much about her, but I love her. Hashtag Rhea, Team Rhea, fuck Julian. Okay, so I just read where they went to go meet his mom, and honestly, I can't lie, Julian kind of snapped in that chapter, because not only did he stand up to his mom, but more specifically, he made Yasmin's plate of food, which I don't know, I just found that like really sweet. Like he made her plate for her and he gave it to her, which I don't know, I thought it was cute. But his mom was like, oh, you're so disrespectful. If your dad was here, he'd whoop you. And then soon Julian says, no, he'd whoop you. Oh. I felt like he kind of snapped. Like, I can't lie. So I fear that, you know, maybe like Yasmin, I'm starting to accept Julian for who he is somehow. Okay, so they go back to Julian's place, and for some reason, Julian's way of telling Yasmin about the abuse that he went through is by spanking her, and then while he's giving her aftercare, he tells her about it. Which, I don't really know. I think that's a little bit odd to spank her and then be like, yeah, my mom abused me because my dad abused her. But he does make a point where he says, you know, his life would be a little bit easier if she was dead because he feels that she suffered because of him. But yeah, the whole spanking thing kind of was like the main focus, and I was kind of like, I don't really know how I feel about this right now. I'm glad that Ali could recognize the way that he was a bad dad to Yasmin by ignoring her, but him thinking about it and connecting it to, oh, I can't believe I didn't see how Julian and you were falling in love. Huh? That's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about at all. And then Yasmin's talking about some, oh, you know, because this marriage suddenly isn't feeling as fake. How? Because what, he spanked you, he told you about his abusive family, and then y'all had sex? No, sorry, he ate you out? All of a sudden, oh, the love is so real. Be gone. Be gone. I have about 10 pages left that I'm honestly getting a little bit tired of reading. But I think that she's kind of gotten to the point where she kind of accepts her feelings for Julian. I'm not taking a lot of notes because I think I'm just disconnected. And I'm just kind of waiting to see how exactly this ends. But she basically tells Julian, you know, like, I'm yours, because she didn't say it the night before when they were about to, you know, get into it. And Julian's like, it's easy to say that when you're literally kidnapped and in my penthouse, girl, and you're cut off from everybody else. She says, wait until we come back and then we'll see. So I guess he wants to see how she feels about Aiden, and then soon when they go back home, it's gonna be like, do you really love me or not? So yeah, honestly, I don't really care about the lamp at all. So I'm curious to see if the next few chapters are gonna be super lamp heavy, because that's gonna be annoying to read. But anyways, I'm close to finishing the book. Right now I'm reading, and so I don't know why the whole lamp thing was brought in, especially now. I'm so sweaty, please ignore that. I don't know why the whole lamp plot was brought in, especially now, because where I've read, where I'm like, I don't have that much left in the book, they literally decide that they're no longer gonna look for the lamp. What was the point of the lamp thing? And I know it's like, he's no longer looking because Julian realizes that he doesn't care about the lamp anymore, he only cares about her. Okay. And when they go there, Julian's like, okay, there's something up with my lead girl here, Jeannie. And then soon, we find out that Jeannie and Aiden have a sort of thing going on, right? So Aiden is talking his shit finally, and he's like, what did you expect to happen? Which, I do not condone cheating. But he's like, what did you expect to happen when I have been trying for our relationship and you haven't? Like, I've been telling you, hey girl, talk to your dad, and you haven't been doing anything, which, he wasn't wrong. But somehow this morphs into Yasmin being like, oh, I love Julian, because she's like, oh, I never fought for Aiden the way that I'm willing to fight for Julian. What? I'm sorry, huh? Aiden, innocent boy who you've loved since you were a kid, who you were too scared of your father, even though your father's dying, to tell that you liked him. And you went through all this stuff with Julian just to be like, you know what? Maybe I was in love with Julian after all this time. Just because what? All the shit that's going on, you'd stand by Julian instead of standing by Aiden? That doesn't really work for me. I don't really see how these people love each other. And now Aiden kissed Yasmin without consent, which was obviously bad. And then soon Julian saw them kiss.
And he's like, I'm so upset. I feel like I can pull my hair out. And he's like, not at the kiss, because I understand that she didn't want the kiss, clearly, because he saw her push him off. But he's like, I'm just upset that another person got to taste her. Excuse me? I can't take this book seriously. I can't wait to be done with it. I'm sorry. I need to be finished with this book ASAP. ASAP. Okay, so there's been so much going on. I'm currently on the epilogue, so I'm about to finish reading that. But tell me why there's an extended epilogue. Anyways, so I'm reading, and there's so much going on. Literally, like, I wish I'd recorded my face because there was so much happening. She gets kidnapped by Ian, as expected. And we find out that Ian was actually working with, I forgot his name, but it was the guy who did not want Julian to find the lamp first. I really don't care about the lamp plot. I will not lie to you. So, because Jasmine had texted Rhea earlier, Rhea comes over with Aiden. And they're like, guys, all three of us, we love her. We should go save her. So they go and they save her. But that doesn't really happen. What ends up happening is, or at least what Jasmine thinks happens, is that, first of all, we literally see Rhea get shot, which is traumatizing to me because I love Rhea. The only person in this book who I think I actually truly like is Rhea. No shade to Yasmin. I don't like Yasmin that much. Anyways, so we see Rhea get shot, and then soon we see Aiden come in and save Yasmin and then soon take her away, and then soon we hear Julian get shot. Allegedly. Tell me why she goes to her safe space, or she goes somewhere with Aiden to be a safe space. Oh, you're probably wondering why they can't call the police and stuff. That's because Sultan's is like running with the mafia, so they can't call the police. So now Aiden and Yasmin are like secret, and they're hiding out, and he's like, we can be together, and now we have the lamp. And mind you, she's traumatized, probably still bleeding, and he's trying to feed her pizza. Okay. Anyways, and then soon Yasmin finds out that Aiden is a double crosser and that he has been wanting the lamp this whole time. He's on his phone with his mom and he's like, finally, we're finished with the Sultans. We got the lamp. Oh. Of course, Yasmin overhears because she's finally creeping up on people and she's listening. And she's like, oh, okay. So she decides, yeah, no, I'm not doing this. Fuck you, fuck your mom. She went and grabs the lamp and she's looking through his bag, I guess trying to see things to get before she leaves. Gun. So there's a gun. And then soon, Aiden's like, you're not gonna shoot me. You love me. Bam. But before she shoots him, for some reason, she headbutts him, which I don't really understand. Why would you headbutt him? Because headbutting him also hurts you. Yeah, Aiden's bleeding. My thing's like, you were gonna shoot Aiden anyway, so I don't see why she headbutt him. Anyways, we go back to Julian's POV, and Julian is literally murdering and killing these people. He cuts off Ian's... I don't know what word I can say. He cuts off Ian's part and puts it in his mouth. And then Ian dies, and of course, as always, because he's insane, he leaves the snakes to eat them up. I don't even want to say anything about that. Honestly, this whole book has been pretty much boring up until now, and it's sad because like this is like the last chapters of it. But yeah, I kind of hate when people shove everything into the last chapter because I feel like this would have been nice if it was maybe extended a little bit more, but I guess the Ian twist is really good. I'm excited to see what the epilogue and extended epilogue are like because I truly don't think that Yasmin and Julian love each other. Nothing really gave love to me. I think that they just trauma bonded, honestly, after everything that's happened. And also at the same time, what Aiden did was wrong, switching up on Yasmin. But my thing is, Aiden and Julian are two sides of the same coin. Two sides, same coin. The only thing is, Julian's more of a murderer. I'm not saying anything Aiden did was okay, but I'm just saying there's two sides, baby. One really weird comment that I did not like, because while Ian was sort of talking his shit to Julian and being like, oh, you switched up on me just because you got a warm and a wife who does what she says, he kind of gagged. He was kind of giving needy boyfriend, no shade. And then soon, Ian, I was kind of on his side this, and he said, I could shoot her dead body right now in front of you. Oh, that's not. That part I was really, really, really confused about. Genuinely, I don't know why Ian came up with that, but then again, Ian always disliked Yasmin because Julian was like, I don't fuck with her. But he's like, but you want to be with her, though. So, yeah, I'm hot, I'm sweating, but I'm ready to crack open this damn last, epilogue and extended epilogue for some reason. Okay, so the epilogue was honestly pretty fast, and I asked my sister, as I always do, if I should read the extended epilogue. she said yes because of course she did. And I've gotten through the main parts, kind of like the update about them 5 years later. And I don't really know if I'm gonna finish reading the rest of the epilogue because it seems that the rest of it is just a huge smut scene. Which I don't know. I feel like when I don't like the book, the smut, and it just kind of really takes me out. And I didn't really like any of the smut in Twisted. So I'm not really sure if I'm gonna read it because if there's nothing to really add besides smut, then what's the point of reading? The thing I noticed is that oddly in the back of the books, for some reason there is like this character outline thingy which kind of shows you a little bit about the characters. I feel like that should have been put in the beginning with the playlist. That way we can, you know, learn a little bit more about the characters before reading. But hey, I've decided that I'm not gonna read the extended epilogue because I've kind of realized that it is literally just a smut scene. And considering the fact that I don't really think I'll be coming back to this book, I don't really see the point in reading that. So that means I have officially finished reading Twisted by Emily McIntire. This book was interesting. And I don't want to say it was interesting in a good way. I think it was just overall interesting. I didn't understand the lamp plot at all. I won't lie, Aiden being a two-timer was pretty good because I really did not see that coming up until the end. Shout out to Rhea. Rhea was my favorite character. Everyone else in this book sucked besides Rhea. I have to say it. I'm so sorry. But I'm finished with this book. Okay, that is the end of this video. Please make sure to check out my Books and Beauty, or it might be a library trash video. I'm honestly not sure, which will be coming out the same day as this one, where I talk more in depth about this book while doing makeup, which will be inspired by the cover. Please make sure to check my Etsy shop out in the description below, where I sell my bookmarks, and please subscribe because I'm on the road to 300 subscribers and I cannot wait to get there. I think that's all that I have to say. This book was a lot. Bye. Thank you so much. If you read this book, actually go ahead and tell me about it in the comments because I'm down to hear about it. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching and I love you. Bye.